Hi, this is Rachel Perez again, and this is my Module 4, my analysis of the collaboration tool. And the tool that I chose was LoilaNote. And so I did a little bit of a who, what, where, and why analysis. So the tool kind of works for teachers and students in somewhat of the same way. The teachers can distribute images or web pages, PDFs, and all of these things they can kind of like shoot out to the students' devices. And they could be using laptops, or it's actually compatible on iPads as well, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to analyze this tool, because we have iPad, like a one-to-one device at the school that I teach at. They can also provide like real-time feedback to the students. They can kind of see what they're doing and then kind of shoot them an email or a message and kind of give them some feedback on what they're doing. So students can then, they work with cards. They're kind of interactive cards that they can make. They can, outline something, map something, put their ideas into a visual, and they can share it with their teacher so the teacher can take a look and then give them feedback or grade them. They can share it with another student, so if they're working on two different parts of a project. And then they can actually make presentations and they can show it to their other classmates. They can compare it with the other cards in the entire class and kind of do a whole class collaboration. So it's a virtual workspace, and it kind of gives you a blank slate, and then you can kind of pick different templates that you can use. It's to organize their thoughts, brainstorm. It gets them to kind of be creative with how they actually map things out, because everybody's brain works a little bit differently. It engages them in the act of learning because they're actually, getting the information and putting it out there. Like, they're doing the research and they're doing the actual mapping, which actually increases a little bit of motivation for them to do it so that they're actually involved in the process. And it gives them a shared learning experience so they can, get a topic and they can work with another student on how to map that topic out. You can find it in the App Store. You can find it on Google Play and the Microsoft Store, so it's compatible with all different types of devices. And for right now, what I found was that if you make a teacher account, you actually get 40 student accounts that are free. And I actually ended up making an account just to kind of play around with it a little bit. So why would you use this? Well, it's very student-centered. It gives them the control of how to map things out. It gives them the control of how they want to map it out. It gives them like an overview. Sometimes, they can learn the little parts, but then it's like, well, everything is a part of a big picture, and it gives them that big picture view. And obviously it helps them to collaborate among, maybe a small group or the entire group of the kids that are in their class. It's used for blended learning, flipped classroom. It can just be personalized for one student. It could be for, a group of students. And then can be like a project-based learning technique as well. So what they have to do is, depending on what type of activity that they're doing, they can kind of figure out which thinking tool will be the best to use. So understand the task that is at hand. And this information I actually pulled from their website. And so they understand, what are they actually mapping out? What are they learning? And, how do they need to figure out how to organize all of this stuff? And so that's the first step. And the second step is generating their ideas. So you can just kind of like pick out keywords or pick out concepts and just kind of throw it on this mind map. And then the third step is taking a little bit further and actually explaining what that map is showing. So in the picture here, they used a Y chart, and they actually organized the different organisms that they saw in habitats. And then so they kind of analyzed what they saw, put it into words, and then kind of coming to a conclusion. And over on the right-hand side, those are all the thinking tools that are available. And if you actually click on the Learn About Thinking Tools, it takes you to each one, and it gives you a little excerpt and explanation of like when you would want to use them and what they can be used for, or actually given examples like they do on this page here. So it can give a social presence for the kids as well. that kind of goes from the article that we read, and it has, all of those parts of a social presence. And this is an activity that I kind of just, came up with. And it's, an icebreaker activity where they have usually 3 truths and a lie, and the kids try to guess, oh well, that one's a lie, that one's really different, that must be the lie, or that one's really obvious. And so what I did was I put my name in the middle of it, and then all of the little circles underneath are the truths and the lie. And it can be one of those things where each kid is going to make it, and then you kind of share it to the rest of the class, and then they can actually go through and they can pick which one. Again, just kind of getting them to collaborate and getting them to get to know each other a little bit more just in the beginning of class. Kind of gives that sense of community. So, in an online situation, you don't get to see every classmate face to face. So it just gives you a little bit of an idea of, the experiences they've gone through, where they come from, helps them to interact. It might be a conversation starter if they, find, oh yeah, I broke a bone too, or, oh yeah, I've been here before. It kind of gives you, as a teacher, it gives you an idea of, where they're coming from as well, maybe what experiences they've had, the knowledge that they have, or just kind of gives you a little basis to kind of get to know your students. And the teacher can get involved too. They can make one and have the students try to guess about them as well. And last but not least, so this is just kind of a sample project that I kind of came up with. And so I'm a biology teacher, so this has to do with cells. And we do a project that's similar. We, have the students research what each of the types of organelles within the cell are going to do. And so what I kind of came up with was, if the students make in the top left corner, that would be kind of like a web, a concept map, mind map, and kind of list out all of the cell organelles that are actually in the cell. And then below that, I would have them pick 3 of them, and they need to find what the function is. So what is it doing for the cell? And so in the bottom template, there's the name of the organelle that's in the middle, and then on either side they can do the function, what it does for the cell. And then all the way to the right, I would have one group in each of the classes pick in each class, pick a organelle, a specific organelle, and research that one and give me a couple criteria. What does it do for the cell? Maybe the macromolecules that make it up, processes that it helps with, and just to kind of give me all of that information and basically become an expert on that organelle. And then all of the groups can present their specific organelle, and then eventually come all together, to the class, and they can teach their classmates about their own organelle, and then everybody will have the knowledge of all of the organelles of the cell. So that is my collaboration tool, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.